And another one of Tarek's number one teams goes down.
Oh, no.
That was Joe Sterling hitting the big shot for Crespi in the Mission League semifinals. And Crespi upends top-ranked Sierra Canyon and moves on to the Mission League final, which we're going to talk about in a moment. We have two great guests on from Winward. They're having a spectacular hoop season as well. The head coach in his second year, DJ Gay, and his outstanding point guard, Gavin Hightower. But from SB Live, number one
I know,
every
man.
week falls.
Almost. I had St. John Bosco up there. They lost. I had Roosevelt up there. They lost to Centennial. I had Mater Dei up there. They lose to J. Sarah. Sierra Canyon I put up there. And Joe Sterling with one shot puts the dagger in the Trailblazers. Hey, parity at the highest division in the Southern section. That makes things fun.
Crespi won the game 64-61. They will meet Harvard Westlake, which knocked off a very good Notre Dame team, 60-56. So great semifinal action in the Mission League.
Yeah, you know, it's arguably the best league in California. It's got great top division. All three of those teams, Sierra Canyon, Notre Dame, and Harvard Westlake, will be in the open division. And like we've been debating off air, hey, what about if Crespi beats Harvard Westlake on Friday night? Are they in too? I find it highly unlikely, but they're in the conversation. That makes for 4 teams in the conversation for the open division.
Wow. So you like Harvard Westlake tomorrow night?
Yes.
The game will be hosted by Harvard Westlake, 7 o'clock on the Wolverines' home court in Studio City. Should be a good game, though. Crespi's a substantial underdog.
I think what happened with that game, with that Sierra Canyon game, I'm just going to call a spade here. It's a warning shot. So Sierra Canyon came in complacent. Crespi wins the game, but it would be very surprising for Harvard Westlake to come into that game complacent, knowing Crespi knocked off Sierra Canyon. So there's no element of surprise anymore. I think David Rabibo is going to win a Mission League championship.
We're going to see Tarek's top 10 in a few minutes. We're going to see who he's got maybe being number one next week. We could probably figure that out. But one of those candidates is certainly Mater Dei. And Mater Dei won 2 big games this week. They knocked off Los Alamitos on a Barnett jump shot, 65-65 at the buzzer. Then Mater Dei came back and beats St. John Bosco. Bosco's got a terrific team. These are 2 open division squads.
Yes, I was at that game. The Los Alamitos game was at the Nike Extravaganza, which was at Mater Dei. But this is Luke Barnett. It was 60-62. And Luke Barnett just kind of swing jumper from 3 with 1 or 2 seconds left on the shot clock. That made it 65-60. He made another 3 a couple seconds later, and Mater Dei ended up winning the game.
Yeah, Luke had 6 threes in the game. What a week for Luke Barnett. Again, he hit the game winner at the buzzer against Los Alamitos. Let's quickly move into the LA City section. Cleveland bounces back. They lost earlier in the week to Granada Hills. Beats Birmingham 63-52. There's now a 3-way tie, 7-2, the records. Those 2 teams in Chatsworth in the West Valley League.
Yeah, the thing with the city section, look, everyone's talking about how the strength of the teams is lower than ever, but it does make for good parity. We don't know what 8 teams are going to be in the open, and we certainly don't know who's going to win the open division city section title. So that makes it fun. That really, really does. And last ad, yes, I think Chatsworth, Birmingham, and Cleveland will all be in the open division.
Last score I want to give you on this portion of the program. Winward, we're going to talk to the guys from Winward in a moment. A very tough win over Campbell Hall in overtime last night, 72-67. This was an excruciating game for the Wildcats.
Yeah, I was there last night and a good crowd on hand. The Wildcats are a very, very well-coached team by DJ Gay, and they just never seem to be flustered. Majority of the game, they were trailing. Campbell Hall had this kind of 5-6 point buffer, 3-point, 4-point, and just kept maintaining a lead up until the final quarter and obviously in that overtime frame. And Winward made the right plays and won the game.
Gavin Hightower, our guest, had 27 points in that game. Great playmaker. So we're going to bring Gavin Hightower and his coach DJ Gay in. Gentlemen, before I bring you on and talk to you about your Wildcats team, I want you to look at some video. And first, when we come back, I want Gavin Hightower to break down this guard's play when you watch the video. So, Gavin, you're going to become a commentator when we come back. Let's take a look at the video. And their star player, DJ Gay, poured in a school record 56 points.
That was a phenomenal performance, and he's just a terrific senior guard, an all-city player, getting recruited by some big West schools, and even the Pac-10 has a definite ability to drive to the basket and draw fouls, and also can make the three-point shot. He's going to be the player that Sylmar has to contend with.
You say he gets to the free throw line. He got to the foul line 23 times against the Wolves last night and knocked down 22 of the 20. Parrots struggle when Gay doesn't score. He is the guy that gets most of their points, and he's capable from deep. And there it is, the three-point jumper from DJ Gay. Gay has unlimited range. And he's not shy about pulling the trigger. Guerra for three. And DJ gets it back, sporting that mohawk that many of these Parrots wore last year. There's a three-point jumper. He hits. DJ Gay, 2 triples and 6 points in this opening quarter. All right, Gavin, break down DJ's game.
You know, that was a true point guard right there. You know, they go under the screen, shoot the three, find his teammates. You know, that's everything you want in a point guard right there.
All right, Gavin, well said. DJ, your thoughts on watching your basketball performance from your heyday at Poly in Sun Valley?
Oh, that brings nothing but great memories back. What I love most about that game is my cousin is actually was playing for Sylmar, so I still give him a hard time every time I see him about that game.
Well, congratulations. You scored a lot of points that night, and I was there the night before when you scored 56, which is still the school record for Poly against Van Nuys. All right, guys, let's get back to modern times here. We were in the prehistoric era back then. DJ, you got a great basketball team this year. You're 24-3. Are you ahead of schedule? People are saying you're on the cusp potentially of making the Open, probably number 1 or number 2 in D1 come playoff time. But you're 24-3 with a young team. Are you ahead of schedule?
You know, I projected this, year 3 for the guys, but the hats off to them for their ability to buy in, to sacrifice, and to really become a true team and brotherhood and put in the work. For us to be in the Open discussion, my year 2 and led by a heavy junior class. It's really impressive. Just shows, like I said, it shows the work that they've all put in, and us just, things going our way.
Gavin, explain your game to the viewers. I know what your game is like, but explain your game.
I would say I'm a pass first point guard. I just love to get my teammates involved. But then, there's times I have to take over the game when they need me to make big plays, and that's what I'm there to do. But ultimately, just get my team involved, make sure my guys are ready to go.
One of the things that stands out to me about your game, you are fearless when attacking the rim. You're not exactly a big guard. You are a smaller guard. However, when there's a guy protecting the rim, you have no problem jumping into that guy's chest, creating contact. That's very impressive. Where did you learn how to do that?
It started at a young age working with my trainer, just learning how to take contact and finish through contact. That's something that we've always worked on, so now it's just no problem.
DJ, when you watch Gavin out there, do you see a little bit of yourself?
No, I don't. Gav he has a level of athleticism that you're just, it's God-given. I couldn't move the way Gav can move. I couldn't jump the way Gav can jump. And his defensive tenacity was something that I didn't develop until college. But what I will say about Gav is his ability to learn on the fly, being coachable, and being able to find guys at the right time. Gav says he's not a shoot first, he's a pass first point guard, but that's not what I call him. I call him a win first point guard. He's somebody that does whatever it takes to win basketball games, and as a coach and former point guard, what more can I ask for?
One of the examples of that is grabbing 17 rebounds last night in a win over Campbell Hall. Talk about doing anything. He also had 8 assists. Gavin, there is a lot of chatter about Winward, Open Division. You're I think you've already clinched at least a share, or you already are Gold Coast League champions. Be that as it may, that chatter of the Open Division is there. Do you have to kind of block that out, because the goal is whatever the next game in front of you is?
Right, we just have a goal, and it's to win. So whatever is in front of us, we're just going to attack it. And every day in practice, we just want to learn and get better and prepare whatever in front of us. Even if it's Open or Division One, we just want to know we want to win.
We compromise in life. We sacrifice. And Gavin, I know you sacrifice. You're only averaging, I say only 15 points a game is pretty good. I mean, your partner there, DJ Gay, when he was at Poly, averaged 29 in his senior year. But you're averaging 15. How do you feel like you are sacrificing for the betterment of the team?
I'm sacrificing just getting my guys involved, just finding them and understanding that when there's guys around you, I don't have to score every time, and I can get them involved, because if they're feeling good, everything else is going to go well. It's going to open up driving lanes for me, make everything easier.
A general question for you, DJ, before we let you go. Second year as a high school coach at Winward. I know you've coached before. And you know what? How's it going so far? How are you enjoying it?
I made the move to compete against the best, and there's no market like the LA market. Winward has been phenomenal for myself and my family, and how blessed am I to walk into a situation and coach such a great group. Winward is a special place, and I feel like we're just getting started. We have a very good junior class, and I don't want to look too far ahead, but to have 3 years with this group, I'm a lucky coach.
DJ, a lot of times we watch the players and we get a lot out of the players. How have you gotten things out of the players for you personally? What have you learned about yourself with this Winward team?
I coached in San Diego the last 8 to 9 years, and the style of basketball in San Diego is very different than Los Angeles, where there's more structure, a lot more plays, strategies in San Diego. And coming to LA, what I had to learn with this group is how to let the athletes just be athletes. There's not a lot of Gavin Hightowers, Jeremiah Hamptons, Louis Bond, JJ. It's not a lot of players like that in San Diego. So to have the opportunity to coach high-level athletes and finding that gray area where you let them, do what they do best, but finding a way to keep it within structure has been a big challenge and something I'm continuing to learn. But I feel like we're all on the right track.
Well, you're still a fairly young guy, even though we had that video from many years ago. And congratulations on a terrific second year back in Southern California. Gavin, tremendous junior year. Good luck in the playoffs wherever you land, probably in D1. Very much a high seed there, and certainly you got an opportunity to make a deep run. And we appreciate you guys coming aboard, and best of luck.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Good guys, great program. He's got it going in the right direction.
Easy to root for, and a team that does a lot of things the right way. And it's funny that DJ talks about how different things are in San Diego compared to LA. He reels off Louis Bond and JJ Harris and Gavin Hightower. And it's like those are like 3 or 4 really good players. And he's talking about how maybe one of those guys is on each team, maybe a second guy in San Diego. He's got all 4 of them on one team. So it's just an example of how talented teams are here in Los Angeles.
There's going to be a tough decision for the committee to figure out who are the top 8. Over the years, we've seen situations where it's pretty well defined. It isn't well defined. No. You could take 10 or 12 teams for the 8th,
yes,
put them in a bag, and any of the 8 could fit.
Correct. No, that's true. I do think when you're at the committee and you're looking for what the best tournament is, I do think there is 8 teams. In my opinion, it's very subjective. Someone else might think another team is worthy than the 8 I have. However, you are right. You could probably make a 10 or a 12 team pool play bracket, whatever, this year, and they would all be able to compete just fine.
Yeah, I'm going to pick them out of the bag. Any of the 8, 12 teams. I think Crespi is a perfect example.
Correct.
If they win tomorrow night.
Like you, and this is, not to get into too much detail, but now with the new approved playoff system going into effect next season, that's where something like that could come into impact, because the way that's going to work is computer rankings, and then they'll draw a line that'll determine how many teams are in the top division. Where we're stuck with 8 teams.
we're not stuck with Tarek's top 10. So we're going to take a look at this because it's going to change dramatically next week. I think Tarek's got one more, then he's going to, discard them all because we get into the playoffs.
Correct.
A top 10 doesn't matter. So we have one more top 10. So let's look at the SB Live top 10. There it is. Sierra Canyon and Notre Dame both out of the Mission League tournament,
Correct.
both lost. Harvard-Westlake could be number one next week. Mater Dei could be number one. Hey, Roosevelt-Eastville or Corona Centennial could be number one since they play each other tomorrow night.
Correct. Yeah, and again, these are rankings. I always have to make sure to say I make these every Sunday going into the week. And by the time we do our show on Thursday, things have transpired. And like you said, Sierra Canyon and Notre Dame have already lost. I think Harvard-Westlake or Mater Dei are probably going to be the final number one team of the regular season when I do my rankings this Sunday, which will be the final regular season rankings before we go into the playoffs. We are announcing the basketball playoffs on Sunday, so we'll see who makes that open division. And last thing I'll say is, yes, Roosevelt and Centennial do play tomorrow night, and that could play into a lot of factors in regard to the open division field.
Also a shout out to Josh Giles there, that Roosevelt Eastville team is going to play Corona Centennial. Giles is the coach at Centennial, just won his 500th game last week.
Correct. Yep, he's been there a long time, although he doesn't look a day over 35. He looks like a young guy.
He does.
Really, really good, talented program. They've got 9 losses, but not one loss to a Southern Section team. So those 9 losses are traveling around the state, traveling around the country, playing in showcases. And so they played a very challenging schedule. They got a McDonald's All-American on their team. I find it odd if you were to leave that team out of the open division, and I'll leave it at that.
That's Carter Bryant, the All-American. It's interesting, too. Giles says he's older, he's a veteran, he's now got 500 wins. Gary McKnight has over 1,300 wins. That's hard to comprehend. Giles has been around forever. He's proud of the 500, the accomplishment, and he's not even halfway to
Correct.
McKnight.
Yeah, McKnight's in his 42nd year, and which is remarkable.
Mater Dei, of course.
Correct. All at Mater Dei. Correct.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at some guys who could be the player of the year here. One of them is Mercy Miller, who's had a phenomenal year for Notre Dame Sherman Oaks. Even though they've lost 3 games in a row, his numbers are outstanding.
Yeah, Mercy Miller is easily one of the top players in California, and depending on what he can do with Notre Dame in the open division, could make him Mr. California. The Cal High Sports usually does a Mr. California basketball, and he's certainly on the short list for it. Aiden Fowler, deserving to be on the list. Not sure he'll win it, but in regard to the season Jay Sarah's having, there's no question he is their best player and most valuable player. Brandon McCoy, only a sophomore, big time sophomore player. He actually was recently ranked the #1 recruit in the country on 24/7 Sports for the 2026 class. And then the last 2, Braden Burries and Brandon Martinson, very, very good players. Braden Burries is a 5-star recruit. UCLA and Kansas and Kentucky are all over him.
Yeah, Martinson to me has had a great year for Mater Dei. Got hurt the other night. I don't think it's too serious. But they're so balanced at Mater Dei under Gary McKnight. He probably won't win the award, but he really's had a terrific year.
Yeah, Brandon Martinson is one of the super sophomores. I think he's already 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah, he is.
He can shoot, he can play inside, he can handle, and he's been an outstanding player since last year as a freshman. So we've known about him for a while. And sometimes, Randy, we get these freshman talented kids, and it seems like they've been around a while, and they're only sophomores or junior. So it's just one of those kids that's going to be around a while, even though, of course, it's only 4 years. Joe Sterling's another one. We talked about him all last year as a freshman. He's only a sophomore, making big shots, and he's got 2 more years of high school.
Yeah, Joe Sterling might have been on the list. It might have been an oversight on my part. I just picked
No.
a few of them. But Sterling's a great player, and he had the shot to knock off our very good friends at Sierra Canyon at the top of the show. And again, that's a very young Crespi team when we look back at the Celts.
It is. They actually play. So we got Joe Sterling, Isaiah and Carter Barnes are freshmen.
Matt Barnes' kids.
Correct, Matt Barnes' kids. Peyton White's a junior. Then they play another freshman named Nikon. So we're talking 3 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and a junior. I mean, that is their team, and they're all going to obviously return.
Yeah, so they're going to be a great team next year. High school basketball is in good shape for years to come, which makes Tarek happy because he loves high school basketball. All right, let's turn our attention to the ladies. Let's look at the CIF Southern Section top 10. This is not Tarek's top 10. This is the Southern Section's top 10. There they are. Etiwanda, Sierra Canyon, tremendous teams. Ontario Christian, who averages 82 a game. That's a high number. They've been over 100 5 times this year. Sage Hill, Mater Dei, coached by Kevin Kiernan, who has over 900 victories in his illustrious career. And then Bishop Montgomery, Brentwood, Corona Centennial, Winward in the girls as well as the boys, and Orangewood Academy.
Yeah, to me, Etowanda is the team to beat, although Sierra Canyon is likely to see them in every final there is coming up this postseason. But Etowanda with Kennedy Smith, McDonald's All-American, and Sierra Canyon's got McKinley Randolph. Zach Randolph's an NBA daughter. They're very, very talented. So you got 2 McDonald's All-Americans going at it, but I think Etowanda has the edge.
You're lining them up, and we got some other teams that'll have something to say about that when they get into the tournament. So let's take a look at potential candidates for the CIF Southern Section Girls Player of the Year. And Tarek just gave you 2 big names that are going to certainly be on that list. One of them, of course, is Kennedy Smith, as he mentioned, from Etowanda. She led them to the state championship last year. There's McKinley Randolph. She's a double-double every night, has improved her outside shooting. And, of course, we talked about Kalina Smith last week from Ontario Christian. Just a freshman, has her average up to near 36 a game.
Yeah, all these players are super special. 2 of the 3 are McDonald's All-Americans, and the only reason Kalina Smith isn't is because she's not a senior. But she will probably be a McDonald's All-American when she's a senior. It's that obvious. I've seen them before. I'll never forget Kiki Ariafin at Harvard Westlake was a standout freshman, sophomore, and for years with 2 years to go in high school, you can look at a player, especially in the girls basketball, and go, okay, she's that special. She'll be a McDonald's All-American. And I think Kalina Smith's going to be that.
And I went and looked at some of her video this week because we talked about her last week, and she has really got excellent handles, great shooter, very unselfish, great passer. So, if you double team her and try to slow her down, and we're talking about Kalina Smith at Ontario Christian, she delivers the ball well. She's averaging 6-7 assists a game to go with the 36 points a game. So you got to love the fact that she's so unselfish and is a great player.
Yeah, and the team's winning. So, right, there are players out there that average big numbers, and, they're not really impacting winning. She is impacting winning. Ontario Christian will be an open division team. I don't know if they can beat like a Sierra Canyon or an Etowanda, because across the table those teams are more talented. But it'll be fun to see her play against those teams and see if she can still muster up the points and maybe get her team help her teammates.
Well, they do have a big win over Mater Dei, so they can play with the big girls. All right, let's move ahead. We've got some football notes. We always have some football notes. And every week we talk about Peyton Waters of Birmingham. Great player, defensive back, receiver, just a versatile all-around athlete who led Birmingham to 4 city championships in a row. Well, he committed to Washington. Last week we told you he decommitted. He went into the portal. Well, it's another week, another change. He's out of the portal, back to Washington.
Hey, sometimes it's just better to go back where you started, right? Why not? Either way, it's a good program. It's in a great city, Seattle. I mean, it might just be the fit. You don't want to overthink it. He's likely to start playing as a freshman because he's so good. He was an early enrollee, so that's always good. That means you're going to be ahead of schedule in regard to the other freshmen that enroll and get to school in the fall.
Yeah, there was a coaching change at Washington, so he decommitted, but then he's friendlier with the new coach, got involved with the new coach, and feels comfortable, so he stays at Washington. Kevin Hawkins, outstanding quarterback as a 10th grader last year at El Camino in the San Fernando Valley in Woodland Hills. He's leaving. We don't know where he's going to go for sure. This is the second year in a row ECR has lost their quarterback. Last year, they lost a quarterback to Birmingham. And a lot of it, Tarek, is because of the field. These players are a little upset, and the field still hasn't gotten done. You got to go back to, 2022 they've been working on it. And they don't know if it's going to be ready by next year, and now you lose a great potential star like Hawkins.
Yeah, I wonder if Birmingham's a destination
Could
at all,
be.
Because Tisdale has left and gone to Inglewood. That's their starting quarterback the last 3 years. So we'll see where he ends up. But, I'm not mad at that decision because you're right. You're not so sure if you're going to have a home field to play on. And what an unfortunate situation for not just the football team, but boys and girls soccer, lacrosse, right? The list goes on about, these are kids that need a home field to play on. So they're getting on buses and playing at other high schools or parks, and that's just no fun.
You mentioned before, you hear these names, and they seem like they've been in a program for many, many years. Well, Jalen Burt is a great running back for North Hollywood High School. and now he's transferred to St. Genevieve. I thought he was a senior last year. He's been around so long. He's actually a junior, so he's got another year, and he's going to St. Genevieve. Quick darting running back, over 1,000 yards every year.
You would know this. Are those schools relatively close to each other? I'm kind of getting to feel like
4
they are.
miles.
Yeah, North Hollywood and Panorama City, correct?
4.5 miles.
Yeah, so it's a close little jump over the lily pad there. And, hey, why not? Private school at North Hollywood, I think, I'm not saying, usually when you say things like, well, what more can he accomplish? He's done everything he possibly can in North Hollywood. That's not necessarily true because they didn't win like a city title or anything. But I think maybe it's possible that he thought, well, I think it's better for me to try something else and get a different atmosphere. So I'm happy for him.
4 players from Los Alamitos transfer. They go to Long Beach Millikan in football, and one of them is Anthony League, who is a great running back, another guy that is accomplished, and that surprised me.
Yeah, Anthony League's a really, really good player and one of the better players in all of Southern California last year. It just seemed like every week he was putting up big numbers for Los Alamitos. That is a surprising move.
Baseball, we're going to talk about baseball more in weeks to come. Early signs show Corona is the best team and Harvard Westlake probably the second best team. But in baseball, anybody can beat anyone. Just want to throw that out there because baseball starts February 10th, and we'll have more on that. Also, this Sunday, Tarek Fatal, this gentleman, he's going to tell you who's going to be in the tournament. I want you to hear this from Tarek, and he'll break it down for you right like this.
Hey guys, Tarek Fatal here from SB Live. We've got another CIF Southern Section bracket breakdown coming your way on Sunday, February 4th. It'll feel a lot like Selection Sunday, of course, a term synonymous with basketball. This time, of course, it'll be the high school boys and girls basketball playoff reveal show. We'll go live at 11:30 on the CIF Southern Section YouTube channel, and we'll reveal the brackets from 5 up to the Open and Division 1. Now, that's 20 brackets there. We won't be going through every single one. We won't have enough time. We don't want to take too much of your Sunday. We'll go live at 11:30. We'll be revealing all the top seeds for 5, 4, 3, 2, and so on, and all the A, the double A, of course, all the way up. When we get to the Open Division, we will reveal the Open Division pool play, what that schedule looks like, and then we'll finish the show with the Division 1 information, again, for boys and girls basketball. Looking forward to having you guys tune in. We'll take you up right until noon when all the information is planned on being released anyway, and all that information will be on the CIF Southern Section website and, of course, on scorebooklive.com. I'm Tarek Patel, looking forward to having you in on Sunday. That's Selection Sunday, of course. We'll have some fun, and we'll see you then.
Tarek breaks it down. Tarek's on everything. I mean, he's got this Southern Section. You got the show. What's
the
it called?
Southern Section Sit Down.
The Sit Down
Yeah,
show, right?
uh-huh.
That's on our air. In fact, I think it preceded our show tonight. He's on Prime Video with Uninterrupted Top Class.
Here we go.
Show about Bronny James. He's on the weekends with Jim Hill on CBS. And he's on this show.
Yeah.
And do you work? I mean, how do you juggle all these jobs?
Hey, man, I know you're being funny, but the truth is, and Randy, you've done sports your whole life. It's fun.
It is.
There you go, man. I mean, that's the answer. I'm lucky to have this job. I'm lucky to be able to have fun and talk sports with you, man. Seriously, I know you're being funny, but the serious answer is I'm having fun. It doesn't feel like work. And, hey, the high school sports gets to keep me more at home. I get to spend time with my family.
And we're fortunate to have Tarek on the program. I know where you're going to be tomorrow. Tell everybody where you're going to be tomorrow.
I will be at Corona Centennial and Roosevelt. That game is being played at Santiago High School in Corona, kind of a neutral site. And that will be for the Big 8 League Championship. And guys, that's going to have some, if Roosevelt beats Centennial and gives Centennial their 10th loss, this is what's happening right now with the Open Division Committee, Randy. They are looking for teams to volunteer themselves to lose a game so that their decision for those 8 becomes a little easier. Maybe it's Corona Centennial, which would be criminal.
Yeah, because they seem to win it every year for Josh Giles, and they have a great team, and they could win it. Again, we talk about the balance in the Southern section. It's kind of like the City section. All their stronger teams.
Yes.
We don't know who's going to win this year.
Absolutely.
Which makes it a lot more fun in both sections.
Yes, it does. And I think anyone can win it in the Southern section, just like you're saying in the City section. Obviously, the level is different, just like you said. But the open division in the Southern section is a little bit more fun to watch.
Last ad in girls basketball, it appears to be Etowah and Sierra Canyon in the CIF Southern section. So there isn't that parity. And in the City, it's Westchester and Birmingham. they seem to have separated from the rest. Tarek, that's going to wrap it up for tonight.
Until next week, Randy, looking forward to it.
Till Sunday when we see you. Tarek is everywhere. For Tarek, I'm Randy. We'll see you next week on SoCal Prep Report. Good night, everybody. You're on everything, for goodness sakes.
11:30, you'll tune in.
11:30, Sunday morning, Tarek Fatal.
The YouTube, CAF Southern Section of YouTube.
YouTube.
Be there or be square.
Tarek Fatal.